So how do organisations choose which issues to focus on?
Right. By organisations, we mean NGOs in this case, and how they choose what to campaign on. Well, I think, so the story typically told in IR literature is that they go after issues that have particular characteristics where you can show harm to individuals, groups that are seen as vulnerable, women, children, indigenous groups, that they go after issues that are sort of salient, that are in the minds of people, maybe because some political event has happened, or say a war, or international negotiations, or something else that you can use to draw attention to an issue. And then I would argue that there is also a third element in there, which has a lot to do with what organizations have done in the past. Organizations don't like to reinvent themselves too much, so the types of experiences that they have, the type of expertise, the types of organizational resources that they have invested in is going, my argument would be, to play a large role in determining how they select issues.
Great, thank you. And what fresh challenges do killer robots provide campaigners with?
So killer robots, I think, are a huge challenge for humanitarian security campaigners, because unlike the types of weapons that the transnational community has campaigned very successfully on so far, we don't have any way, at least yet, of demonstrating harm to individuals, to civilians. These weapons aren't really here yet, and so it's very difficult to make the argument that we're talking about a sort of mounting humanitarian crisis. And so that's probably the biggest challenge. Another challenge is that these weapons are quite difficult to understand. The aspect of killer robots that campaigners are flagging up is, of course, their autonomy, the fact that there is no human in the loop. But we've got lots of weapons in use already that have a very high degree of autonomy, so where do you draw that line? It's a very difficult issue to completely pin down and therefore to campaign on.
Thank you. And what conditions make transnational campaigns more effective?
Now that's, I wish I could say with certainty that I knew that. But I think in part you've got to have an issue that does resonate with general publics and with politicians. You've got to have an issue that governments, states can be brought to see that they might have an interest in banning. So I think on landmines and cluster munitions and lots of other arms, in simple arms control terms, there was an argument to be made that everybody benefited from banning these things, and killer robots don't necessarily fall into that category. You've got to be able to build momentum and to get people to deliver a simple message that resonates easily with lots of people, and there too, for the reasons I just mentioned, that we have no victims and so on, killer robots are a bit difficult as well. And timing, I think, the fact that this is the one issue out there on the agenda, that certainly helps a lot. And again, right now, in the sort of disarmament community, we've got a lot of work still to do on nuclear weapons, explosive weapons, so killer robots at the moment are sort of struggling for attention.